What's going on, everybody, and welcome to J Sports Seattle. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Seahawks and just going over the game yesterday. It was a great game. It's a victory Monday. It's a great morning. So I'm just going to go over the game yesterday. Then I'm just going to talk about Gino for a little bit, and then Mike Macdonald for a little bit, and then the NFL standings, and then go over like the remaining schedule. So if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more Seahawks and Seattle sports content. Now, without further ado, let's get on with the video. All right, so Battle of the Birds. Like I said, this is a monumental game, and can we take it? Well, we sure as hell did. And like, offense was horrible the entire game, but the defense. This is Mike Macdonald defense. You know what? We're gonna start off right off the bat. Just talk about Mike Macdonald. This is what we were expecting, and this is who we were getting out of this guy. He is a defensive mastermind. He had Leonard Williams line up as a defensive end, and he has 2.5 sacks. Like, this is stuff only Mike Macdonald can. I mean, not necessarily only Mike Macdonald can do, but this is the stuff that Mike Macdonald can do to bring out the best in his players. It was just a masterfully called game. That timeout called on that 4th and 1 to force the pick six, as you saw right there on the screen. Like, at first I was like, why would you do that after the ball snapped and, like, you know, it was an incomplete pass? And I'm like, that was like, you shouldn't have done that, Macdonald. And I'm like, and then as soon as that happened, he called a timeout and then completely just snuffed out the Cardinals' play and forced him to throw a pick six. I was like, yeah, this is why I'm on the couch and why this dude's on the sideline. Like, this dude, like, I don't know what he did, but he just schemed probably the most perfect game. But he schemed probably the most perfect defensive game I've seen in years from this team. So this is a very encouraging to see, and I'm really, really excited and really happy. And, you know, it looks like that Macdonald's is that guy. He's the guy for us. And, you know, this is his first year, and he's coming in and inheriting another team, and he's trying to turn it into what he wants, and so far he is. And he's going to add more and more people to this team to make it better and make it more suited to what he wants out of this football team, and which is fine. Because the fact that we're doing this with Pete's guys, just wait. And like I said, just wait. Like, we're already doing it. We've cut Tyrell Dodson. We traded Jerome Baker. Even though those were free agency signings from this regime, we understood that it wasn't working out, and instead of just going with the season like we did with Pete Carroll, we made the trade to get Ernest Jones. Sorry if you heard that. We made the trade to get Ernest Jones, and we promoted Tyrese Knight to be the full-time linebacker because I knew that guy had something in him. I knew he was instinctual, and they knew it too. And he had a great game yesterday. Especially in the run. Both him and Ernest Jones just look at this. Their leading rusher had 18 yards. 49 total rushing yards. This is from a team that was at his top 5 in the league in rushing yards per game. We led him to 49 yards. That is insane, and that is because of us getting Ernest Jones, promoting Tyrese Knight, trading Jerome Baker for Ernest Jones, and then cutting Tyrell Dodson afterwards. You can see the dividends it's paying, and this just shows, you know, why John Schneider, he's still one of the better GMs in the league. He makes some bonehead mistakes, and it was, I know what he's trying to cover up. He's trying to cover up not re-signing Bobby, because we should have re-signed Bobby. We didn't. I don't know why we didn't re-sign Bobby. Because we spent $11 million on 2 linebackers when Bobby we could have signed for $7 million. And then, you know, if we wanted to get Ernest Jones, still we could have. But you know what? Ernest Jones, he played alongside Bobby on the Rams for a year. I know he learned from him, and you can see it's paying dividends in our run game. Ernest Jones has been all over it in the run game since he's gotten here, and that's what I like to see. That's what he got. That's what John Schneider got him for, because he's better fit for Mike Macdonald's scheme than a Tyrell Dodson, than a Jerome Baker. Those guys are more like finesse linebackers. They're not like, they're good in coverage. They'll get you tackles, but they will give up some yardage. these Ernest Jones can do it all, man. He can play coverage. He can, rush the quarterback. He can get to the run, and you can tell. And he's a smart play caller. He's a smarter play caller than the other two. You can see what it's doing. And to keep in mind, this is our third straight division game. Third straight. I'm actually going to go to the schedule right here. We played LA, then San Fran, and then AZ. We play a division opponent 4 times in 5 games. 4 out of the from the week 9 to week 14, all division 4 out of 5 are division opponents. That's crazy. So the fact that we were getting these 2 crucial wins, one over San Fran, one over AZ, is massive. And we have a huge chance to to really see if we can try to put ourselves ahead next week by winning against the Jets, and then coming to week 14, that'll probably decide the division depending on how the Rams do. If the Rams lose next week, they're probably out of the runnings for the division. And if the Rams lose and we and the Cardinals win next week, and the Niners, which they probably will because they're facing the freaking Buffalo Bills who blew us out on our home turf, then that's huge for us. And we have to play LA again to end the season. And then another stretch. We have to play 3 straight games against the NFC North. That's also a huge stretch for us, and two of which are on prime time. So we are on prime time, and we are going to have to show up and show out on these games because these games decide the division. Week 4, I wouldn't be surprised if by week 14 that game between us and Arizona decides the division. I really wouldn't be surprised because I can't really say that. Let's take a look at Arizona's schedule. I know ESPN likes to give me fits, so let's see if it'll load. Yeah, so I don't know what ESPN's deal is. Okay, there we go. Alright, so their schedule. They play the Vikings next week. So that's a huge matchup. Obviously, we're going for the Vikings. We're not even in contention for the first seed, so don't even worry about that. We need the Vikings to win next week. So they're going to Minnesota, so that's a huge game right there. If we win next week against the Jets, even though they're the lowly Jets, still can't take them lightly. You got to treat every game like every game's a playoff game, like Mike Macdonald said from this point on. And that's the mindset that you need to instill in these guys. That's a great mindset to have. And no matter who you play, whether if it's the Jets, whether if it's the Panthers, it's a playoff mindset because you need to get to the playoffs. So yeah, they have some gimmies because they were last place last year. So they got the but they have this next 2 games are going to be rough for them, and I wouldn't be surprised if they lose one of 2 or lose both of them. And then they face the Patriots. That could be a good right game. Panthers, that could be a good get right game. And then they face the Rams and Niners, and those are toss-ups because division games are usually always toss-ups. So, as you can see, if you look at the Seahawks, I don't know if it shows it doesn't show the division standings, but oh yeah, here we go. So if you see the division standings, here's the playoff picture. I'm bouncing all over the place, but that's fine. So we were 1-2. And now we're 2-2. We were able to claw our way back and get 2 division wins, which is huge. 2 straight division wins at that, which is massive. The Cardinals, they're 2-1, so technically they have a better winning percentage in the division against us. But that's because they've played one less team. So that, like I said, that all comes to a head week 14. So that's a massive game. This game was huge. That game is bigger. So yeah, that's. Ooh, yeah, we'll see what happens there. And let's see. Yeah, Rams are 2-1. So even though they took that L against the Eagles, they're still 2-1 against the division. The Niners are not doing so well right now. If they lose one more division game, their season's technically not over. it's almost effectively over. If they lose next week, it's basically over. But if they lose another division game, it's definitely over. So like if they lose against the Cardinals or the Rams again, yeah, it's over. It's looking pretty grim for them though. Let's see. Yeah. So I mean that was a hell of a win to get right there. So because our strength of schedule is above average, it's a 0.512. The Cardinals, oh crap, theirs is pretty rough, 0.570. But yeah. But you know what? I'm just gonna go over the stats of this game. Enough. I'll get back to the rest of that later. But yeah, like the defense played, like I said, one of the best games I've ever seen. Glenn Williams had a monster game. 2.5 sacks, 3 TFLs, pass deflection, 4 QB hits. Jaren Reed had half a sack. Boy, Mafe had a sack. Like that sack in the first quarter, that was massive. Nice on him. TFL, like, yeah, man. Like the defense played. This was a team defense win right here. Rick Woolen had that amazing block to allow Bryant for that pick 6. Like it was just a team effort on defense, and this is what we were seeing under Pete. Obviously, this isn't Pete Carroll. This is Mike Macdonald. But Mike Macdonald is instilling his own philosophy into this team, and it's starting to pay off. We're finding our defensive identity, right, which is good. We're finding it at the right time too, as the playoff picture is heating up. So I like this. The thing with Pete was he would always start off hot and then he would fall off. We started off hot. We kind of struggled in the middle, but we made adjustments. Pete wouldn't make adjustments, and that's what Mike Macdonald's been doing. So let's see what happens going into week 13 against the Jets next week. I'll preview that game. I'll try to see if I can preview that game later on this week, depending on how my schedule looks. But yeah, this is it was a great game. But oh yeah, and before I get to Geno, I got to talk about JSN, man. Like he didn't reach 100 yards, but like it doesn't matter. He had another solid game. He had a touchdown. Had a great game. I wouldn't be surprised if he got ranked in like the high 70s, lower 80s by PFF. Like he had an amazing game. That screen that he just broke that tackle and just almost took it to the house. Like that was awesome. Like JSN's here. He is here. I already knew this guy was going to be good. Obviously, I mean he's the 20th overall pick. You would hope he would at least be good, and he is. I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps playing the way he's playing. He like potentially snags a Pro Bowl. I would hope. I think he could have entered the top 5 in receiving yards. Let's see. I'm going to do not ESPN because I do not want to have to wait for that. I think they have a full Let's see. I know he's top 10. It's got to be top 10, right? Oh, man. I guess it doesn't matter. They're both just, like, taking a long time to load. He's 6th in the league in receiving yards. So, he's getting up there. Jamar Chase is going off. These are the 2 best wide receivers in the league. So, these guys are going to get all pros. Maybe CD. But JSN, he could potentially make a Pro Bowl, and that, you know, this would be his first Pro Bowl in his young career, and that would be great for him to make a Pro Bowl. DK has 697. He's not too far behind him. Lockett, you know, he's taking the back seat. That's fine. And JSN could potentially be our wide receiver 1. I said wide receiver 2. He could jump. He could even leapfrog DK if he keeps playing like the way he's been playing. And this is all against division opponents that we've played against last year. So he's getting it. It just shows that he's becoming his own in this league, and he's figuring out how this league works, which is great. So I'm hoping that he can continue that going into next year. It'll be a great matchup against Garrett Wilson, wide receiver matchup. But I need to talk about Geno. So as you can see, he leads the league in passing yards. And I mean that's great for him. That is because he is 2nd in the league in attempts, and of course Burrow is the leader, but he's literally only like 7 yards Oops. What the? Oh. He's literally like 7 yards behind him. Yeah. He's literally 7 yards behind him, and he's gonna be leapfrog Geno next week when he plays, unless Joe Burrow has a bad game and Geno just lights up the Jets. That could be it. But even though he leads the league in passing yards, his quarterback play has concerned me, and it's been concerning me the past few weeks, and it's continuing to concern me. Yes, we won, but I feel like we won in spite of Geno, not because of Geno. That pick in the red zone, that you can't do that. You just can't. He had a chance to use his legs on that pick, and I understand we won. I get it. I'm not trying to be a Geno hater, but I'm trying to think. You can't you can't do this stuff in the playoffs. You cannot give away points in the playoffs, and he's done that. He's done that for like a lot of times this year. He did it against the Rams when he threw that pick six. He did it twice in the Rams game. He threw 2 red zone picks. You just don't do that as a quarterback. You can't do that as a quarterback. I understand our O-line is bad, but a lot of these times it's Geno trying to extend the plays. He just needs to. He keeps forcing it. He needs to stop forcing it. He needs to understand when he needs to throw the ball away or use his legs. Like he used his legs against the Niners, and look what happened. He won the game because of it. And he just that pick that he threw in the end zone yesterday. He had some daylight. He could have gone a few more yards for Jason Myers. He could even potentially gotten the first down. But he couldn't at least gotten a few more yards to give Jason Myers a little bit of an easier field goal. See, that's the thing that you can't do. You cannot do that as a quarterback in this league. It's as you can see, for every touchdown he throws, he makes a mistake. And that will bite you. If he can improve, that's it. He just needs to know. And it's not all his fault. Obviously, the O-line is bad. And he could be seeing ghosts sometimes. Because he got sacked a few times that game. He got sacked 5 times. So I don't blame him for seeing ghosts, because the O-line has just been wreaking havoc on him all year long. But he needs to stop holding on to the ball. And that's a tendency he got from Russ. And that's not a knock on him. Russ is one of the greatest to ever do it. That's what Russ did. He would hold on to the ball, but the thing is with Russ is he was faster and he would use his legs. Geno, he has speed, but he's just not as fast and he's not as agile as Russ was in his prime. So Geno's got to understand that you don't have to try to play hero every time. You just need to play clean football. And it makes me think that Dave Canales is one of the greatest quarterback coaches ever, because Geno has not been able to replicate that success since that 2022 season when Dave Canales was his quarterback's coach. So it makes me think he's just a system quarterback, and that's fine. But I understand that it's a first-year offensive coordinator, but he's been in the league for 10 years. He's been a starter for the past 3 years. You got to learn, you'd think he'd learn from some of his mistakes of knowing when to throw away. And he did a good job of, using his checkdowns. He did a good job of, not trying to force a deep ball when it wasn't there. But, it just seems like he plays great for a majority of the game, and then he just makes one mistake that could potentially cost the game. And that is why you can't, you can play a great game the entire game in and game out, but if you constantly make a mistake that could put your team back, especially against a great team, it's gonna get you eventually. That's just my philosophy on it. And that's not just my philosophy, that's the philosophy on it. So if Geno he's got to chill with the red zone interceptions. That's literally it. He needs to understand when it's not there, throw it away. I understand he's trying to make stuff happen because our O-line is trash, but live to see another down. Let your defense play. Our defense has been playing amazing. So you get your points, let your defense get a stop, you get the ball back. Simple as that. So that is my take on Geno. I like him. I still do. I still think he's a good quarterback, but he needs to stop forcing stuff. That is my thing on him. He needs to stop forcing games or stop forcing throws. He's been forcing throws. The first few weeks of the season, he wasn't really forcing that many throws. Now he's been forcing throws. I need him to stop that. So if he can stop doing that, I'll be happy for him. But but he leads the league in passing yards. There's not, I mean, that's not a fluke. He is good. He does make great throws and timely throws when he needs to, but just some of the mistakes that are easily avoidable, he makes. So I just need him to chill on it. So, but yeah, like, see how many. He's the third most sacked quarterback in the league. So, I mean, yeah, it's not all his fault. Obviously, the O-line is just horrific, and you know, you saw that yesterday. I mean, there were multiple times where we got, like, there was a 4-man rush, and we had 5 people protecting, and they still got to him. It's like, are you serious? Like, this offensive line is one of the worst offensive lines I've ever seen, and you know, worse. You know, obviously the Bears and I guess the Texans, goodness gracious, are you know, worse than us. But like, this is still a bad O-line, and the fact that Geno is putting up this stuff, that's why I say, like, it's like I can't put all the blame on Geno, because it's not all his fault, but he makes some very boneheaded mistakes that he shouldn't make when he extends the plays, because he does a great job of bailing out his O-line and getting outside of the pocket when the O-line collapses in on him and the pocket collapses. But just what he does after he does that, some of the decision making after he does that just baffles me, and stuff he shouldn't make, like that red zone pick. So that's all he needs to do. That's all he needs to fix. That's all he needs to do, because other than that, he's been playing great. But like, that's the one thing I need him to fix, is just knowing when to not force it. Don't force the ball. So yeah, I'm not trying to knock Geno. I just said that's what he needs to do. He needs to stop forcing the ball. Let's see, like, completion percentage, I think he's, let's see, 4th, 5th in the league, top 5 in completion percentage. Tua. Sorry if you hear me. My phone's been going off. I forgot to mute my phone, but it's fine. I usually have background music playing, so hopefully, you know, it'll tune it out. But anyway, yeah, like, we definitely need to somehow find a way to protect him. I mean, he leads the league in yards, total yards, and yards per game, passing yards per game. So he's doing something. He's trying all the best he can with a bad O-line. So we'll see what happens from here on out. Hopefully the O-line can figure some semblance of competence. And like, he's 22nd in QBR, like 22nd in QBR. Where is he? 23rd in passer rating. So not all his fault though. But some of it is his fault, but it is not all his fault. But that's my shtick on Geno. And but yeah, going off this, I'm just go back to the standings real quick before I end this video. We have, like, next week is a massive game for us. We need to win. Everybody needs to lose. In a perfect world, everyone loses, but you know, that's not guaranteed. I don't know who the Rams play next week. Let's see. Honestly, I could have did the thing at the top of the screen. Because I keep forgetting that that ESPN likes to mess with me. Let's give it a sec. That's what I did last time. There we go. So they play the Saints. So I mean, that's a gimmick. They're pretty bad. They fell off really, really hard. So, you know, we'll see what happens there. But they play the Bills and they play the Niners. So that's a toss up. And then, you know, they could, you know, the Rams are not out of it. It's still very tight. But if everyone could lose next week, that'd be great. And we win, that'd be great. So. If we weren't leading the division right now, we would probably be, I think we would be out of the playoff picture, I think, as the 8th seed. I think that's where the Cardinals are when I saw before when I pulled this up. Let me just double check. ESPN, man. All right. Yeah, so if we were swapped with the Cardinals, we would be in the 8th seed. So, which is one game out. And the Commanders are kind of falling off. So, in the event that we do go for a wild card, we would be in a good spot to get a 7th or 6th seed. Oh, maybe not the 6th seed, because the 6th and 5th seed are pretty all tied up. So Falcons are just winning their division. They're in the playoffs by default because their division just is not that good. Same with ours. Our division's just mid. That's it. Theirs is just not good. But yeah, they would have to like take L's if you want to get to the 6th seed. But what the way they're playing, like 9-2 in the 5th as the 5th seed, that's crazy. It's because of these guys right here, these juggernauts. Washington Commanders, yeah, like if they continue to lose, the Cardinals could still find a way into the playoffs as a 7th seed. Same with the Rams. If the Rams find some tread. Same with the Niners. I don't know if the Niners lose next. Like I said, the Niners lose next week. They'll be in a bad spot, very bad spot. So we'll see what happens. It all comes next week is very huge for this division. So, yeah, we just gotta, continue what we're doing. And Mike Macdonald, man, he's that guy. This is Mike Macdonald. This is what Mike Macdonald defense is about, and we're seeing it firsthand. So I'm very excited that he's our head coach, and going forward, and for the next 6 years and potentially longer. He could be here for 20 years, for all I know. Like that would be amazing. So yeah, but I think that's all I have for this video. Like I said, I don't know. I'll try to see if I can get a preview video up. Finals is coming up shortly, so I'm gonna have to do a lot of studying to make sure I come out on top. So we'll see what happens. But if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more Seahawks and Seattle sports content. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good day. And go Hawks, go Mariners, and go Kraken. And the Sounders, man, they beat LAFC. They are now in the Western Conference Finals. One win away from the One win away from the MLS Cup. Let's get it, man. I'm so happy for them. So go Sounders.